Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm back with another Sword and Shield video, this time talking about the new Uber Pokemon, Eternatus. You guys really liked my last Uber video discussion, so I figured, you know what, why not do another one? I haven't even played Ubers yet, but I really like the Pokemon. Figured we could do some theory modding because, I mean, Ubers as a tier doesn't even exist yet. We only got 3 of them, so I figured we could just talk about them, see, in theory how they would perform if all the Ubers were there, and, today we're going to discuss Eternatus. But before we get into the video, I gotta say that the agency merchandise is still available for purchase. We got hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts. Been selling a ton. I'm so happy you guys like these. The quality's crazy, the colors are crazy. Go check that out. We got 6 days left before they're gone, so do not sleep. Go check those out. Link will be in the description as always. Let's hop right into it. So talking about Eternatus, so this was one of the legendary Pokemon that was introduced in Gen 8 alongside the cover legendaries, and yeah, I mean, I have 5 potential sets for it here that I figured out from looking at Smogon, and my boy Poe just helped me as well. So I guess let's just go over Eternatus stats first, like I did with the last Ubers video. 140 base HP is extremely high. Ubers in general are known to have pretty good HP stats, but 140 uninvested hitting 421 points is just so much. And if you maxed it out, it hits like what, 484? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 484, which is just crazy. But yeah, even with no HP investment, it still hits a very high amount of HP. And even though base 95 defenses are pretty average in Ubers, I mean, they're not bad by any means, but in Ubers, they're pretty average when you compare it to Pokemon like Groudon and Kyogre that have such massive defense and special defense stats respectively. It's really good when you match it with its HP though. 421 HP means even these mediocre defenses are really good in Ubers, which I really liked. If we go through the typing, Poison Dragon, which is really cool. The last one that had this typing was Naganadel in Gen 7, which actually also got banned to Ubers, which is pretty funny. But yeah, this thing, insane. I really like the moves it got. I really like its typing. The stats are nice. Special attack base 145 is really good too. Definitely very strong, able to hit 389 special attack, and the speed is 130, which is pretty good in Ubers. There are some other guys with 130 as well. Unfortunately, I don't think that I would ever run Modest on an offensive Eternatus, just because if you run Modest, you do lose out on a bit of speed, and so I think Timid is just better, at least for a Life Orb set. So I guess with that, we can just hop right into it. And go over some of these sets that I have and just, how I think this thing would behave in Ubers. So if we go through Eternatus move pool, first of all, you can see that it has a couple of cool moves. First of all, its signature move, Dynamax Cannon, which is just like the move that Zacian has or whatever. It does 100 base power normally. It's a dragon type move, and it does double damage against Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon, which is very nice because, as we saw, Eternatus' speed is quite high. So it's able to basically punish a lot of Ubers. This thing is faster than the majority of Ubers, which is very nice. So Dynamax Cannon being an anti-Dynamax like maneuver is really nice. Flamethrower rounds it off because Dragon and Fire is basically able to hit everything except for Heatran in Pokemon for at least neutrally. And then we have Substitute Recover. So this was a set I saw in Smogon, which I thought was very cool. This set runs Substitute so that it can counter Ditto as well as, I guess, other Eternatus and stuff like that. And then the fact that it gets Recover is really nice because its HP is so high that with its defenses, it's actually quite bulky and it's able to get Recover off over and over. And so this was the first set that I saw on the Smogon forums, and I was like, you know what, this looks pretty interesting. Definitely like a offensive set, but it's also able to do like a, I don't know, it can kind of hold a balanced role too. Like for example, if you have a team with Toxic Spike support, something like this sub recover would be really hard to defeat. Plus Dynamax Cannon is not Draco Meteor, you're not dropping your special attack. 100 base power backed by Life Orb off 145 special attack hits really hard. So this is going to be a really hard Pokemon to deal with regardless. Pressure again with Substitute, that's always great. I mean, that's a strategy we've seen in so many Pokemon games with stuff like Substitute Zapdos or Pressure and stuff like that. So I really like this set. It seems cool, a little support but also very offensive, and it's pretty nice. So the next set we had was kind of a bulkier set I saw. Now this one looked crazy as well. Cosmic Power, Dynamax Cannon, Mystical Fire, Recover. You can look at the stats. This one takes use of max HP and even a lot of defense, but we still got a timid nature. This hits 330 points, which allows Eternatus to outspeed base 100s. So if we go on Uber, there are a couple of base 100s, I'm pretty sure, right? Wait, I don't know which ones though, but they exist. I'm just going through these Ubers lists. It's been a minute since I've seen this, but I guess we're just assuming that all of these Pokemon are back. But yeah, I mean, normally it already outspeeds a lot of the base 90s like Groudon, Zekrom, shit like that, Kyogre, so that's pretty nice. Cosmic Power, if you guys don't know, this move boosts the defense and special defense by 1 stage, making this thing very hard to kill once it gets a couple of these boosts, and Mystical Fire allows you to drop the opponent's special attack stage by 1. So I guess this set is just meant to stick around forever, kind of just be a wall. Again, this seems like a Pokemon that you would really like with Toxic Spike support, or just, I don't know. I mean, this Pokemon in general would be able to force a lot of switch-ins, and Dynamax Cannon is still very strong coming off 326 special attack. Even without investment, this thing is still going to be hitting very hard. Stuff like Groudon that would normally be able to kill this with Earthquake. I mean, it's still going to be able to kill it with Earthquake, but it's not able to switch into Dynamax Cannon regardless of the base power. And then Mystical Fire is just kind of a little support move. If you don't have special attack, there's not really a reason to run Flamethrower anyway, so you might as well just run something that is able to, you know, kind of hurt these Pokemon by dropping their special attack, and then you can get out of there safely. This is a pretty interesting set. Moving on, we have Specs. So I figured you might as well have an all-out, like, just Spec set. I mean, Life Orb, while offensive, sometimes you just want to run Specs, man. Sometimes you don't want that recoil, and sometimes you really want to hit hard. So I feel like these moves are pretty set in stone. You can't really change these. Dynamax Cannon, of course, the anti-Dynamax tech, as well as you don't drop your special attack, so it's way easier to spam. Flamethrower to hit the steel types, of course. Sludge Wave, which is a nice dual stab, can hit fairy types or whatever. And then Draco Meteor, because that is stronger than Dynamax Cannon and does remain Eternatus' strongest move. So sometimes, like, I mean, Specs Draco's got to be damn strong. I bet this shit could take out, like, Groudon after rocks and stuff like that. So I figured you might as well put it, because it's not always that Dynamax Cannon will do the job. It's a strong move, but I don't think it's with Specs it would be able to take out most Ubers, while Draco Meteor would be able to, you know, put the hurt on, pick off something at, like, 70-80% if Dynamax Cannon couldn't do that. Very straightforward set though. Next we have Scarf. Again, exact same moves. We're just running Scarf this time and a Modest Nature. I thought this was pretty cool because this can definitely serve as a good revenge killer. Very, very fast Pokemon. With the Scarf on, what is that? It's like almost 540 speed. I think 538. So this thing helps a lot with Pokemon their speed boosting, stuff like that. In general, it's going to be able to outspeed like all of the Ubers metagame. And just looking at some of the, you know, top ranked Pokemon, yeah, I mean, it's faster than all these guys. Stuff like Mega Gengar. I guess it's speed types Gengar, but everything else, you know. I mean, this thing has a really good natural speed, too. Even without a Scarf, it's able to outspeed Marshadow, which is a gigantic threat. It outspeeds all Arceus, because that's base 120 speed. And even a bulkier Geomancy Xerneas could be EV'd to be slower than Eternatus. So that's pretty nice in general for that. So yeah, choice set is pretty basic. I mean, not really much variation to go with that. And then we have a bulkier set, max HP, max speed. So this one's pretty cool as well. Sludge Bomb, Mystical Fire, Dragon Tail, Recover. Again, another support set meant to just kind of annoy teams, not meant to hit too hard, rather to make use of Eternatus' general bulk with its high ass HP and its decent defenses. And then its speed too, you know, Dragon Tail, Shuffle, stuff like that. Like I said, its high HP makes this thing a lot bulkier than you would think, which is really nice. And so yeah, these are basically the 5 sets I figured you could run for Eternatus. Now I guess we can compare it to the rest of the Ubers metagame and think, how do you guys think this thing would fall? Because I don't think it's like Mega Rayquaza, I don't think it's Zash, I don't think it's as good as those. Even it's probably not as good as Primal Groudon. But, you know, it's definitely a Pokemon worth describing. And of course, I can't do this video without talking about fucking Eternatus, Eternamax. This thing looks insane. Stats out the galaxy. Unfortunately, this thing is not possible to use. You can hack it into your game, but you can't use it in battle. So, I mean, it's kind of pointless to put it up here, but I just had to show that 255 HP, 250 defense, 250 SPDF, this thing would have been chilling with Mega Rayquaza like that. But yeah, I just had to post that in there before anyone commented, what about the Eternamax version? You can't play with it. It is banned, or it's just not possible to use. But yeah, in a world where, let's say, all these guys were legal in Ubers and they were all in the new game, let's see how this thing would match. So, Duskmane, Necrozma, that thing gets hit by Flamethrower. You can hit Yveltal very hard with Draco. I mean, it's just great that it outspeeds all these things. Like I said, 130 is very strong. Gengar, for example, was speed type, but Gengar can't OHKO while you would OHKO in reverse. Primal Groudon, let's see this shit. Primal Groudon has what? 90 base SPDF. So even 100 HP, 90 base SPDF, even with max HP, Primal Groudon would take a ton from both Dynamax Cannon and Draco Meteor. It's not able to sponge the hit very well. We keep going. Ultra Necrozma, I believe, is also slower with base 127 speed. It's able to OHKO Zygarde as well. Marshadow is also slower and taken care of. Arceus Ground can definitely take a hit, but, I mean, it's still slower. Xerneas, definitely checked, KO'd by Sludge Wave. And it's not able to actually... Oh, no, it is going to be able to OHKO Eternatus. I'm pretty sure +2 move blast would kill. I forgot that's neutral versus it, not resisted. Primal Kyogre has good SPDF, but again, slower. Could probably get 2 killed by Dynamax Cannon. Arceus Fairy, very easy to check. Same with all the Arceus types. For example, none of these Pokemon are able to take 2 specs Dynamax Cannon, except for Arceus Fairy, which is just going to get KO'd by Sludge Wave, and Arceus Steel, which is just going to get 2 killed by Flamethrower, which I think is really nice, because again, Eternatus' high-ass HP makes it very hard for a Pokemon to one-hit KO this thing, unless you're like Groudon or Earthquake. We keep going. Mence. What's Mence speed? Is that 132? Oh, 120. So again, also slower than Eternatus, which is great. Mega Mewtwo Y is definitely a great check. It's faster, and it can one-hit KO with ease. Ho-Oh, I wonder if Ho-Oh is actually able to take 2 Specs Dynamax Cannon. But yeah, bulkier Pokemon like Ferrothorn, Magearna, those are going to get hit hard by Flamethrower as well. Lunala does have its ability that allows it to take half from moves at full HP, but even that thing is going to get hit very hard. Blissey, I guess that thing will wall forever. Ditto, I mean, that's why they started running substitute sets to beat Ditto, which is pretty cool. So Ditto Wallet is a good check to Eternatus. It's certainly not a counter, and if it has substitute, it's certainly going to be bad versus it. So that's a pretty risky one, honestly. Toxapex, 2-hit KO by Dynamax Cannon. Naganadel, get this thing out of here, bro. There's a new Naganadel. Its name's Eternatus. Scizor, Giratina, those get handled. So honestly, if you go through all these Pokemon, it looks like Eternatus is able to hit all of them very hard. Most of them super effectively, honestly, and it's able to live an attack from most of these guys as well, unless they have like a Stab Earthquake, Stab Psychic move like Mewtwo, something like that. And so I was very impressed with this, and I thought, you know, this is actually a pretty fun Pokemon. It sucks that there's not all the Ubers in there, but I think that if they put a Pokemon like Eternatus into Ubers, it would very solidly be at least like A- rank. At least A-. It could probably even be A or A+. It's probably not as good as like Primal Groudon. I mean, nothing is ever really as good as this when all the Ubers are brought into the metagame. But yeah, and I mean, I guess comparing it to the other legendaries too. So Zacian, for example. I don't know how to pronounce this thing, by the way. Everyone is clowning me. Whatever. It looks like Zacian. I'm not calling it Zacian or whatever that shit is. But yeah, I already made my vid on this guy. This guy's probably better than Eternatus for sure because he's faster and he's stronger and he probably destroys this thing with Play Rough. But what can you do? I already said this is the strongest mon. Rayquaza is actually going to lose to this thing 1v1 because it's just going to die to Draco Meteor. And then Zamazenta, dude, this thing is just going to get Flamethrower twice. Although, it could probably live 2 Flamethrowers with max special attack. But I mean, it's not like it's going to really kill in return. So yeah, I don't know, food for thought. Between the 3 legendaries, Zamazenta, Eternatus, and Zacian, Eternatus is definitely the second best. It's better than Zamazenta, but it's not as good as the dog. The dog with the sword is the best Pokemon ever. But Eternatus is definitely great. Really interested to see how this Pokemon is used in tournament and stuff like that. And you know, that's basically all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Try this thing on the ladder. Let me know what your thoughts are below. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.